Welcome to another Redox Revelations. And I'm super excited this time. This is the first chance I've really had to actually tell you all about the amazing technology that is Redox Gold. So just a very quick overview for those of you who are not don't know who I am and are new to my channel. My name's Mandy Stevenson. I'm a kinesiologist and cellular health coach and very avid distributor of redox technologies, different redox technologies. So I'm going to just give you a very quick overview, first of all, of what redox really is. So we know that redox is produced in every cell of your body. It was Nobel Prize winning science in the 90s, which is, a little while ago. And as a result of that, it's now one of the most studied areas of science. So redox molecules are produced in every cell of your body, every one of the 70 to 100 trillion cells of your body, every one of them. And they're the little power that comes from the powerhouse. And they are cell signaling. So if your cells are not signaling to each other, little else matters. So they are fleeting molecules. We call them fleeting angels. And they're very tiny, and they can cross the cell wall very easily because that's what they do normally. So when you supplement with a C redox, you're actually just boosting your own body's ability to produce more and to have more of these redox molecules. In other words, your cells are communicating better. So, and when they start with a bit of a cascading effect through the rest of the body. And that's what's the miracle of it all, because you only have to take a small amount and you can automatically feel them cascading. So we have them in the amazing blue bottle, which you can see behind me. We also have them in a topical gel, which is our mainstay topical gels, fantastic for skincare, obviously. And but it also has quite a few other sort of side effects, great for cuts, bruises, scrapes, pain in, 3 times in 5 minutes for pain we've found works very effectively, because what it does is actually increases the blood flow to the area, and it increases oxygen to that area by about 30%. And we all know oxygen is one of the key things in healing. So that's our Renew 28, which is our topical gel full of redox molecules. But, and wait for it, this is the exciting part. ASEA has now discovered and created Redox Gold. And this is gold, what this does. So after 3 years of research, the universities of Western Sydney and University of Bath in the UK they knew that the redox molecules targeted genetic pathways. So they targeted, the initial studies covered 5 pathways. So initial redox molecules hit every organ, every system, every function of the body, because it targets 5 major pathways, and narrowing those down, it just about covers everything that goes on in your body. So what they wanted to do was narrow down on one particular pathway, which is called the NRF2 pathway. And don't ask me for the technical terms, because that's about as technical as it gets. NRF2 pathway, one of the key things of that pathway is inflammation. It targets where the inflammation is, what's going on with the inflammation, and starts a recovery process. And that's what the Redox Gold does. That's how amazing this Redox Gold is, because it targets to the genetic pathway. But what the amazing thing is, it works really fast. And we're finding from anything within 5 seconds to 15 seconds to 15 minutes. And not only that, it stays good once you've actually, and the relief, that's what happens in that fast time, is relief from the discomfort in joints and muscles and things like that. So where there is inflammation, because it's targeting that pathway directly. So that's what's so super exciting. And it, not only that, because it has the redox molecules in it, it actually starts the recovery process for those cells as well that are damaged or injured or inflamed or whatever's going on with those particular cells. And especially when you get to the chronic stage where you've had chronic inflammation for quite some time. I've got people who have tried this and they said, that's amazing. I want a 44-gallon drum of it so I can immerse myself in it, because a lot of people seem to be walking around with chronic inflammation in their bodies. So this is a topical gel. clear gel. But what's amazing about it, what is the secret behind it, is that it is infused with molecular gold. Yeah, that's it, molecular gold. So a lot of people sort of say, oh, metals or whatever, but gold is a noble metal, which means it doesn't react with other metals. So that's what's, they tried quite a lot of different things. What they wanted was something that wasn't actually going to do the work, because they know the redox does the work, but the gold acts as a catalyst. So that means it just amplifies and speeds up the process. So, and we all know how amazing gold is. So you can actually see the tiny flecks of gold in the Redox gel. So, you don't have to believe me. I want to show you a couple of photos. So I'm going to share my screen because I get a little bit confused with that. There's a thermographic imaging that you should be able to see, where rapid relief after just one use. But what that's showing after 15 minutes, so on the left-hand side of this picture, the first picture there, is that where there's pink and red, that's where it is hot. In other words, it may not feel hot to touch, but that's where inflammation is, because inflammation means on fire or inflame. So that's how it shows up with thermographic imaging in the body. And 15 minutes later, they've done exactly the same position, and you can see the blues and greens where it's actually cooled down the body. So they did do these clinical trials on random people who had no connection at all with the company, or these were done by the universities. So we know that these clinical trials have been totally objective. What has been amazing with some of these trials is that normally when they do a university trial, they'll trial something 3 times to make sure. So there's always the control as well. So after they did that, they were amazed by the results that they got. And so they contacted the company and they said, we can't believe these results. Is it okay with you that we do these tests again? This is the University of Western Sydney. If we do these tests again, at our expense, we will just like to repeat these tests. And of course, Sia said, yes, fantastic, go for it. They did the test again and they got exactly the same amazing results, which they couldn't believe. So they then took the same tests to the medical facility, which have much higher grade equipment, etc., ran the tests again, and they got exactly the same high results. So that's 9 times those tests were done. So, you don't have to believe me. The white paper is coming out soon on the amazing tests that they've done on this NRF2 pathway. So as you can see there, you've got 3 sets of photos here, and on the left-hand side, of course, is the before, and on the right-hand side is the after photo. So, and also you've got, see here, you can see the before and 15 minutes after, above and below. So the before is very pink, and below you can see there's a lot more blue and green. Now these tests are done under very strict conditions, because they can't just measure anything with skin temperature. It has to make sure that the skin surface temperature is the same. So what this is actually measuring is the tissues underneath. So you can see on the top and bottom in the middle there, back, neck and shoulders. I mean, who doesn't have those sorts of discomfort in those areas? This person had, you can see, very high inflammation in the top there, where it's very red, and in the bottom one underneath it, you can see that it's quite green and blue. And even in the hand. So, you can imagine massage therapists or anybody that uses their hands, or builders and those sort of things who have problems with their hands. You can see the changes in that one there too. So what they found was, when they did some of these testing, was that the redox signaling molecules targeted these recovery pathways by a gold catalyst, and this is the difference. It increased the glutathione levels by up to 280%. Now I'll clarify that. So on the left-hand side, you see a healthy cell. So the baseline, the control was, we call it the level 1. That's just normal, whatever normal is, but that's normal, a healthy cell. And by applying the REDOXGold, they increased it with 70%. So glutathione is the master antioxidant in the body. We're not adding glutathione. The body is actually creating its own glutathione, but it increased that by 70%. On the right-hand side, they used a sick cell. So what happened with that one was they got a 280% increase in glutathione production in that cell, and that brought it up to almost up to the baseline of the healthy cell. So you can imagine that sick cell's pretty sick as well. So there was a 280% increase there with the Redox Gold. So, I mean, that's just quite phenomenal, isn't it? And then the expression of the NRF2 pathway, once again, we've got the baseline at 10 and we've got 160% increase of NRF2 expression. In other words, that gene pathway was able to actually do a lot more other things other than just improve glutathione. That's just one of the things, one of the proteins that occurs from the DNA in the cells, which stimulates the cell to produce proteins. So I'm getting a bit too deep into the science. So University of Sydney and the University of University of Western Sydney are researching the next generation of redox. And that's exciting because this is just the start of the next generation of redox. So super, super excited. So you can see that we had, sorry, I'll continue with these slides very quickly. So this is the thing. If you get a result from this, if you get an instant within 15 seconds or even quicker after that, don't you think you'd want to share it with other people? I mean, how many people do we know that are suffering with discomfort? We don't have to suffer with that discomfort because we've actually found something that's actually going to work on that discomfort. Wouldn't you love to share that? I mean, the mission of our company is to better people's lives and be a force for good in the world. Now that I've adopted that as my own mission because you can't do better than that. So in order to better people's lives and be a force for good in the world, we want to share it. So I'd love to share it with you. I'd love you to contact me and I'll put my link in the chat below once I get onto Facebook and have a look, make sure it's all coming through the way I'm hoping it's going to be. I can't see it on my phone, but I'm hoping it's all live anyway. And where was the next one here? That's more thermographic imaging, and you can see more on the back there, the pink and red to the blue and the pink and red to the blue. Just amazing. So, you know, there were quite a few subjects that did this one, random subjects, as I've said before. So hands, back, yeah, I mean, don't believe me. Pictures tell 1,000 words. Don't need to say. So what REDOXGold does is actually, because the ASEA Redox and the Renew, as I mentioned before, hits all 88 keys on the piano. And those 88 keys hit every organ, every function, every system of the body. So that's what Redox will do. So you might be taking Redox and think it's not doing anything, but you don't know because you don't know what the priority inside your body, and your body's much smarter than just your brain telling you what you think. But the thing is, what REDOXGold is, it actually targets a couple of keys on the piano rather than the whole lot. So if you've had a great result with Renew 28 or with the blue bottle, the magic blue bottle, fantastic, because one of those 88 keys or several of those 88 keys have been struck, played the music through those things. But this one, the REDOXGold, is actually going to target that inflammatory pathway. So that's where we're directing this one directly to. So it's not a cosmetic. It doesn't solve the wrinkles, etc., which this one does, but it targets inflammation. So just being a little bit clearer about that one. Now, I do want to share with you another very quick video. I'm hoping this plays properly. So I've just applied the REDOXGold to Beck's lower back. Now, Beck, can you give us a little bit of a story of what's going on with your lower back?
Okay, I have a congenital spinal defect and I've always had issues with my lower back and lower body. I'm very fit for somebody with my complications. And I do a lot of workouts, and I mentioned to Mandy that I was feeling a bit tight in the lower back and in the spinal area where the issue derives from. We've applied some of the REDOXGold and it was instantaneous. It's gone. There's no discomfort. I've actually had quite an amazing feeling right through the body. It's just, it's
Wow.
woken something up.
Wow. Wow. No wonder you're so emotional, because this has been 50 years you've been like this, and now you're starting to get this sort of sensation. So, but just to relieve the discomfort.
You've got to try it.
Beautiful,
You've
Beck.
got to try it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yay. So how can I say any more? I mean, that testimonial, this is only 2 days after starting to use this amazing product on my clients, on my friends, on my family. And I'll just give you a bit of a rundown of some of the results that I've had from these people. We were at the markets the other day, and there was a gentleman who came in who cut the knuckle on his finger across here. So he was having trouble. He could only bend his finger. It was really sore. He could only bend it about an inch away, sorry, old school, an inch away from his palm. And we put the REDOXGold onto the REDOXGold onto his knuckle, massaged it in, and within a matter of a couple of minutes, he was able to bend his knuckle down to touch his palm. So that was one. Another man who's a builder, and so he's in his late 50s. He's a builder. He's struggling a little bit with his back, especially his lower back. His knees ache and things because he's always up and down off his knees, etc. So I put some onto his lower back, and within minutes, within seconds, he could feel it working straight away. He just couldn't believe the relief that it gave him. So he can't wait. He's super excited about getting his hands on some of this. Becky that you just saw, I also put some on her shoulder before that because she had very limited range of motion. She had a pain in her trapezius back here in the middle of the shoulder sort of area, which we often get those knots, especially if you carry your tension there, and a bit of bursitis on the tip of her shoulder. And after putting the REDOXGold, she had full motion, full movement of her shoulder. Now I've been suffering with the same thing, and I've got heaps more motion without that discomfort. So it's been brilliant. Another great friend, Kimone Haddon, she loves this product. She loves all of these products, but she had a sore knee. She'd been for a walk. She came back and she said, "Oh, my knee's really sore." So she gave that about an 8 out of 10. And so after we put the REDOXGold on her knee, she said that had gone from an 8 to a 0 in a matter of minutes. Just phenomenal. Hubby Grant came home the other day and his neck was really, really tight. He's been having troubles with his neck. He's not young. He was a farmer for 35 years. He's always had a few issues with his neck. And he said that was about an 8.5. So he was in a lot of discomfort at the time. So we put it onto his neck and we waited for a while, and sort of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And he said it had gone down to about a 4. Now that's halved. It hadn't gone away because it's taken a lot of years to get that sort of level of discomfort and that sort of inflammation there. But he's been continually putting it on his neck for the last few days, and it has improved. It's improving considerably every day. Now, what happens with this is, because it's not just about the relief, it's also about the recovery, repairing those cells. That's what I said earlier. It's relief and recovery. But what's happening is that the baseline, so his 8.5 that he was talking about, has lowered. It's now sort of goes back up to probably a 5 or a 6, maybe a 5, and it drops down to below a 4. So over time, it's actually improving it. I've had a similar problem with my hip, and it's been more inflammation in the muscle. So I've been putting that on daily. And yeah, my baseline has dropped dramatically, and it just feels so much better. Another wonderful friend had a very swollen ankle that was giving her a lot of grief, a lot of edema in her ankle, but it was due to inflammation there. And she put it onto her ankle, and for the first time in months, she slept all night without any discomfort. She'd been having sleepless nights for months. So she was so grateful for that one, full night discomfort free. I had a headache. And the headache is often, inflammation of that area around the brain, the fluid around the brain. Put it above my eye, on my head, on my temple, all that area around there where I was in a lot of discomfort. Woke me up in the middle of the night. I was not very comfortable at all. And it eased it enough for me to be able to go back to sleep. So I repeated that in the morning. So, but later that afternoon, the headache had disappeared. So, it was just, the relief was fantastic. It just made me feel so good. And what we're finding is that these two are working beautifully together. So this lovely white tube with a clear gel, Renew 28. If you apply that 3 times in 5 minutes, especially beforehand, it activates the cells. It brings lots more blood flow to the area and gets things working really well, all the other areas that may not be inflammation. And then you apply a bit of this, it actually seems to sort of be, it's like magic. So I love to refer back to the old alchemists who used to say that they were able to turn lead from lead to gold. Well, we've got the gold. And yeah, it is just absolutely gold, and so excited about it. And as I mentioned before, it's a golden opportunity because this works really quickly with people. They get an instant response, and it's non-addictive, non-toxic, absolutely zero toxicity. The recovery aspect of it is amazing. So you've not just got relief like you'll get with an analgesic or something, but you've actually got recovery as well in there. And it's unique. No one else has got it in the world. So what better marketing opportunity could you have than actually having a product like this that no one else in the world has got? There are a lot of other products out there in the world who claim to be doing similar sort of thing, but this one is 100% non-toxic, and it actually works with the body because it's the same as what's in your body. So I can't say any more. If you'd like to know a little bit more about it, this will be available on February the 7th for us to order. I've been lucky that I've been able to get a little sample tube. When they first released it in Salt Lake City in Utah, I had a friend who was over there who got me some and brought it back to Australia. So I was able to try it out and get some of these amazing testimonials. So I don't want to talk for too long because I want to get out there into the street and give more people relief from the discomfort that they've got. So, yeah, it's just amazing. And the opportunity is there to help people, to better people's lives, and to be a force for good in the world. Why not come and join us? Thanks for your time, and I'll see you probably next week. Okay, bye for now.